Welcome back to Okinawa, Japan. The backdrop as we have 16 teams left standing here at the Men's World Cup. Slovenia and Australia meeting for the first time here in the second round. I'm Despina Barton, joined by FIBA Hall of Famer Andrew Gaze. A team he's really familiar with is Australia. We saw them falter a few days ago, just a 3-point loss to Germany, but now they have at hand an opportunity to seal up their fate if they can put something together against Slovenia, who is unblemished through the group phase.
Well, that's right, and you can get some anomalies with matchups. Australia had that very difficult game against Germany where they lost by 3 in the second game of the tournament, and this one's going to be another test. This is a rematch of the bronze medal game that took place in Tokyo. 9 of the Australians who were on that roster in Tokyo are still in this one, and every time you talk about Slovenia, it's hard to discuss them without mentioning number 77 in Luka Doncic. But this Australian team, they've got some great performances from guys that are new to the team as well. Josh Giddey, Xavier Cooks, they have been superb, and Paddy Mills is playing well. He's top 10 in scoring in the competition, but his three-point percentages have been well down below what they've been in the past. So that's going to be an interesting challenge. And when you look at the overall team stats, both these teams have played 3 games, both in different pools, but there is a lot of similarities in many of the major statistical categories. Very little separates these two in most of them. One of the ones that is the separation is the free throws. 31 free throws a game. Slovenia lead that competition in that category. Australia, they almost double them at 16. So keeping Slovenia off the free throw line is going to be important if you're Australia is going to get the advantage.
And for Australia, they had that advantage in Tokyo, handing Slovenia the loss and taking that bronze medal. But in World Cup play, it's been Slovenia who has beaten Australia in both of their previous meetings. Here, though, a clash with 2 teams that are really familiar with each other, too.
Well, that's right, and there's some recency bias. The last game these guys played, that was Australia, and when you think the Australian team's got 9 NBA players on their roster, they go very, very deep. Slovenia, there he is, Luka Doncic, a lot of 77 jerseys in the crowd, and I reckon because of him, you're going to have the bulk of the neutral supporters in the stands, and stopping him is going to be a challenge, and who does it? There we look at the results from earlier on.
Germany and Georgia, that one was a tight one through the third quarter, and then Germany preserved their perfect record here in Okinawa, and they will still have top 2 teams will advance to the quarterfinals. But here, before we get started, we will stand for the national anthems, first with the visiting team of Australia.
Australia.
And now here for the home team, Slovenia, in tonight's contest. Luka Doncic touching the floor and kissing for good luck. A tradition he has before the games here in Okinawa, as we see Australia and Slovenia meeting here at mid-court, shaking it up, exchanging a small token from their home nation. And for you, Andrew, and Team Australia, they've got to have their eye on the scoreboard. There's a lot of different factors that come in today. Kind of spell this out for us, how big this game is for the Boomers.
Well, if you're an Australian, then you think that if you win, you just can't win. You want to win by 4. If you do that, you've gone ahead of Germany, and provided that everyone beats Georgia. And that's a big if, because Georgia, although they had a tough one today for half that game against Germany, it was a genuine contest. But let's just assume right now the teams beat Georgia. Australia needs to go ahead of what Germany beat them by, and this is their only opportunity to do it. Not only will it go ahead of them, but it'll also give Slovenia a -4. So then they will be, depending on what happens in that game between Slovenia and Germany, but Australia will get through. So 4 is the number for Australia, and you could say the same thing about Slovenia, but they're just about trying to win because they haven't lost yet. So there is no points differential. We take a look at the starters, and what a starting lineup it is. Josh Giddey, Paddy Mills, Josh Green going up. Josh Green going to match up with his Dallas Mavericks teammate Nika and Luka Doncic. Nick Kay and Duop Reith still gets the start. And that man, Paddy Mills, he, as I mentioned, has been number 10 in scoring. And the rebound, sneaky. The little fella picking up 5 and a bit rebounds and the 5 assists. So he has been really good. But like I mentioned, it's from the three-point line where he's been a little bit under what he's been, and he's shooting at 32%. And Josh Giddey, he's been a revelation. This guy's 20 years of age and 19 points a game, 7 assists and 5 rebounds. And what's happened is the ball's in his hands a lot. He plays a similar game to what Luka Doncic does, and Brian Georgian, the head coach. And my understanding is they're going to start Josh Giddey on Luka Doncic. I thought it would be Josh Green, the other Josh, because of his athleticism and the familiarity. He practices with him every single day and plays with him, but they've decided to go with a bit more size, and it's going to be interesting. That's going to be a big challenge for Josh Giddey going up against a superstar of world basketball.
And for Slovenia, it's not been an easy road to stay on a blemish. Cape Verde threw everything at them yesterday, 2 days ago, excuse me. So Slovenia here, after winning against Venezuela, Georgia, and Cape Verde, a same starting 5 unit, consistent throughout the entire tournament. Although we did see Luka Doncic have some trouble with his hip a couple days ago. So a couple days rest now, we got to think he's feeling good.
For sure, and he's used to that type of physical contact, and here we see him on the screen. The guy's a freak, 30 points a game. Coming off not one of his weaker performances. He was only 5 of 17 against Georgia in the last one, but he can contribute in so many different ways. The 8 boards, the 7 assists, the ball is in his hands most times. Now, this is an interesting one. Klayman Prepelic, he doesn't start, but he plays starter minutes, and he has starter production. 17 points. He's been lights out. Really, really good from the three-point line, where he's at 45%, 56% overall. They are outstanding numbers for him, and he's going to have a big one as well.
Yep, Coach Alexander Sekulic happy with his team's performance so far. They're getting the best of everybody's shot here, and they know that they've got the target on their back. Here, they will see what they can put together. This is a group that is coming off just 1 day rest. They've beaten everybody by a margin of 17+ points. They've got the fans on their side. Like you said, those Dallas Mavericks jerseys in the stands. And for Australia, they come in as the higher ranked team, but there's a sense in this arena that it's anybody's ballgame.
Oh, it is, and Australia been really efficient. They are the leading team from two-point range. They shoot it, and shooting it really well percentage-wise from the two-point range. And Slovenia, they take more threes. Australia are averaging around that 23, 24 three-point field goal attempts, which is a little down when you think of an Australian team. They've been, over the journey, been more renowned for doing their work from the three-point line, and they haven't actually shot it all that well from the three-point line, but in contrast, almost 32 three-point field goal attempts per game for Slovenia. So you'll see a little bit different with Australia trying to get into the paint a little bit more, but still a lot of similarities when you look at the numbers so far in the tournament for both these teams.
So these two teams obviously in the final 16, now playing to advance to the quarterfinals. This is the first of that reconfigured grouping, so both of these teams will play again in 2 days, but it's a must win.
It is, and both of them are well rested. Let's listen into the Guru Gorgian.
If we don't have the push to step up, we're into reverse. Čakaj da dobi dole žogo, ko dobi dole žogo, gremo ta backscreen, wait for the screen, wait for him to count, and let's go. Gremo je 2-3 krat odigrati ta napad, pa gremo pistol side, okay?
One thing that's been in question here for Slovenia is the depth on the bench and the caliber of player as they reach through there. They're actually going to be playing with 11 today. Jakub Blazic is still out. He had a back injury against Georgia, and he's really been a day-to-day call, but we haven't seen him warm up, and it looks like they're going to go with 11.
It is, and if you're Australia, your focus is going to be on 3 players. It's going to be on Mike Toby, the big fellow in the middle, and how he works the pick and rolls, and Luka will find him. If he's open, you hard show off Toby, he dives, and that's going to be tough. Of course, you've got Luka, and the other one is Klemen Prepelic. Now, if all 3 of those guys play and play well, that's their best chance for a win. But Australia, they're not going to disrespect anyone else, but they're going to put their attention and their defensive strategy around those 3 guys and see if someone else can beat them.
When Coach Sekulic was asked about his preparations and thoughts on Australia, he goes that, you know, they watched them briefly and competed obviously for a medal in Tokyo, but he said, this one's going to be very interesting, Andrew, and he's personally looking forward to it.
Yeah, of course.
So jump ball, Toby, and Reith gobbles it up, but it goes to the other side. Doncic, the first to score.
Well, perfect start for Slovenia. Nick Kay just didn't read the tip.
Giddy to Reith. Mills driving right, he'll pull up the mid-range. A miss. Toby with the board, Doncic. The double comes up, open Toby, look in the corner, shot up by Dragic, and it's in.
Perfect start, and that's what happens with Luka. They blitz the on-ball screen. They double team Luka, but with his size, he's able to find the man because you're effectively playing 4-on-3. You've got 2 on Luka, and then they find Toby, the extra pass, and there's the tip where Nick Kay just missed it. And when a guy's coming off a 5 or 17 game, nothing's more reassuring than getting a cheapie to start things off, and that's what happened to Luka.
Giddy with the ball, the 20-year-old, who's making his first ever World Cup debut here in Okinawa. Green, a miss from the free throw line. Kay saves it. How about a dunk?
And what about the kick-out pass? Nick Kay gets a board amongst the forest, but heads up play to find Green for the dunk. Green is guarding Luka, which makes more sense. Gave me a head fake to say that Giddy was going to start on him.
Those two obviously teammates in Dallas, and Doncic drawing the first foul. We'll head to the free throw line.
It is, and he's a 77% free throw shooter.
Josh Green just taking flight, really earning his way into the starting lineup for Australia.
He was that 11th or 12th man on the Olympic Games campaign, and he's improved his game over the last couple of seasons, improved his jump shot, and it's vital to keep Luka off the free throw line. He's averaging almost 15, 14.7 free throw attempts per game. He's making 11 of them.
Giddy through traffic, laying on the right. Alexei Nikolic bringing up the ball for Slovenia. Giddy on Dragic. Double comes down on Luka. Skip pass. Around the horn we go. Shot up by Nikolic. Mills flying. And the foul is called.
That's twice. You can see the difference in strategy. Australia, at every opportunity on a miss or a make, they are wanting to fly it down the floor. This was the play before the Paddy foul, and Giddy just using his size. It's not necessarily blistering pace. Toby needs to try and step up and meet Giddy a whole lot earlier, because that's bread and butter for Giddy. And the very next play down, Paddy in full stride gets into the paint again.
Paddy Mills, the 35-year-old captain, hits them both for Australia. Lots of Boomer fans making their trek here to Okinawa, hoping to give an extra lift here to the team. Toby to Doncic. He gives it back. Inside-outside game activated. How about the other end? Toby put back on the weak side.
And that's a breakdown by Nick Kay. Good closeout by Giddy. Contested that shot, changed it from Dragic.
Giddy working off Reith here. Rolling, takeaway. And a foul from behind. Reith is going to pick up his first.
Here we see he grabbed him from behind. And that, again, is one that's walking that really thin line, that fine line between an unsportsmanlike and, boy, I understand the rules. And maybe I don't understand them correctly, but that should be 2 in possession.
Nikolic from the wing, drains it. An interesting changeup here for Slovenia, who's bringing up the ball, too. Doncic kind of hanging out in the corners. Mills riding the baseline. Reverse. A miss. Toby. And the ball is cleared out for Slovenia. Again, gets it to Toby. Nikolic. Toby with the putback.
Again, Toby. Got to meet him and keep him out of the paint.
Reith for 3. That narrows things.
He's been good in the tournament, really efficient from the three-point line. Matches. Look at the double team.
Toby turns, shoots. It looks flat, but he gets it in.
He had a foot on the line, so it won't be a 3.
Mills continuing to push the pace here. Giddy driving left. That's his sweet spot. Hook with the right.
That first step. Dragic has got the assignment on Josh Giddy. And he's off to a good start, 2 of 2.
Toby now both feet behind the three-point line. Australia ball.
Straight away, Australia makes some changes and they go to some small ball. And I can understand why. Slovenia have come out with that trapping D on Luka. They've shot the ball well. 2 of 5 from the three-point line and 6 of 11, 55% overall. So now you might just see, rather than the double teams, more switching.
Giddy with the floater. So efficient down the lane.
I'm surprised that Dragic is playing him so tight. Giddy's had his challenges from the three-point line. And when he's so tight, that first step when Giddy can get around him, and he's had 3 pretty easy ones by his standards.
The ball taken away. Xavier Cooks and Green, part of the defensive stop. Okay, in the corner, no one gonna contest him. A miss, Green knocks it, but Slovenia recovers. Running baseline, Nikolic will decide to take it back out. Double comes, and a traveling.
Yeah. I think he was going to pass it out to the top where the double team was coming from, and there was good rotation and hedging on the weak side, and he bunny hopped and gets called for the foul. And this has been pretty regulation in the rotations that Brian Goorjian uses. Josh Giddey coming out, Dante Exum coming in to handle the point guard duties, and Joe Ingles comes in for Nick Kate. Now we've got a small lineup, small ball for Australia, with Joe Ingles now playing the 4.
Ingles, step back 3, lefty, strokes it, it misses. Doncic eyes down court. He likes to work with Mike Tobey here. Tobey rolls, Doncic shoots, and he doesn't need any help this time. Doncic for 3.
Well, that time, there was only a hedge by Xavier Cooks and Dante Exum. Doncic makes him pay.
Cooks is sliced in the eye. He was trying to stay away from the trap. Tiptoeing along the baseline. Green, little pump fake, take it a little closer. And he'll shoot 2.
It is. I mean...
Okay. Hey, the kickball, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, I hear you. Jump in, let's go.
Well, Luka, a couple of possessions before, was complaining, thought it was a kick ball, but it's only a kick ball if it's an intentional kick. If you're there and you just throw it off the player's leg, now, I didn't see the replay, I don't know if that's the case, but I didn't see anything where it looked like there was an intentional kick. But we saw that last possession when Xavier Cooks, they've been trapping all game, and that time it was sort of a half-effort trap on the blitz, and Lucas steps back and splashes a 3. The guy is just off the charts.
Green takes care of business on the free throw line. He goes out. Matisse Thybulle steps on.
Well, he's got to face 2 of the elite defenders in this competition coming from the one team. Matisse Thybulle, he had the responsibility on Luka in that bronze medal game and did an outstanding job.
Klemen Prepelic on now, and he comes right off and scores. Prepelic off the bench for 3. Ingles back out. Slovenia up by 6. Exum has the ball. He'll take it himself. Thybulle now, tasked with sticking with Doncic. And another win on defense.
And the win there is because Luka left his feet. He's not happy with Dragic, I think it was, but when you leave your feet and there's good rotations by Australia, that forced the turnover by Luka.
Mills head down driving. Ingles extra pass, Thybulle, corner shot, misses. Cooks meets Doncic on the other side of the screen. And a warning whistle here. Dragic goes off, and on comes Horvat for Slovenia.
Please, help me out, Cook. Thank you.
Prepelic to Tobey, no look pass. Horvat, back door.
Well, if you are going to hard show, and that time there wasn't enough ball pressure, makes that pass a whole lot easier.
8-point lead for Slovenia. Exum takes it out a little bit further. That does him well. And Klemen Prepelic gets it to Doncic. 2 Prepelices on the floor. They're cousins for Slovenia. Number 32 is Bine, the younger 22-year-old. And then Klemen Prepelic, the 30-year-old, wearing number 7 for Coach Sekulic's Slovenian squad. Horvat to Toby in the corner. Toby gonna drive baseline. Hooks, cooks. It drops in. They're gonna count this.
Well, with their efforts and concentration under Luka Doncic has opened it up for Mike Toby. This time there, look at the hook. See the left arm? That's a hook that he got away with. And then Cooks just with the shove on the back. But Toby, 8 points and dominating the boards. He's got 8 points and 5 rebounds already.
Mike Toby, the 7-foot, 28-year-old, makes it a 3-point play. A whistle away from the ball. Prepelic and Joe Ingles.
It is, and if you go back to that game where Australia did win the bronze medal, take a look here, just a little holding on Joe. Joe exaggerates the contact a little and gets the call. But it was the Paddy Mills show. He had 42 in that win in Tokyo. And it's a different look as far as the roles. Paddy has the 2 points so far.
Exum driving right. Misses. Toby with his 6th board. Doncic trotting this up. No look pass to Toby. They've had a connection all tournament long.
It is, and they got to reevaluate. The hard showing on everyone, I can understand it when it's Luka and you're not doing it right. If you're going to show, you've got to meet him. Duop Reed did a great job early on. He was coming out and smothering that pass. But if you don't smother it and he's got daylight, you're playing 4-on-3. And they've been able to pick it off, such as the class and brilliance of Luka. He's already got 3 assists.
So Coach Sekulic expecting a change-up out of this timeout. Australia taking some time to talk things over. They trail by 11. Here's a look at a heat map when the ball's in Luka Doncic's hand.
It is, and clearly teams are sending him left. You see when he's it's occupied mostly on the left side, and that big chunk at the top of the key, you're going to see a healthy diet of that as well, because that middle on ball, we've already seen it here, and the way in which that he can see both sides of the floor, that puts a whole lot more pressure on your rotating defense when you operate in that middle.
Giddy back on the floor for Australia. Thibault's first shot, it's a miss. Kay picks it up. Another chance here for Exum and company. Exum keeping his eyes on the basket there. And Toby continuing to take control of the rebounds.
Well, they're getting some good looks, but this end, 11 of 16, Australia cannot get stops. And they're not shooting it well at 6 of 16, only 38%. It's a bad combination, and they're getting beaten on the boards.
Thibault with the hands to disrupt the pass intended for Doncic.
Comprehensively beaten on the boards as well, 11 to 5. So, all in all, this has been a horror start for Australia, giving up 28 points. It's too many.
Doncic from nearly his bench. Giddy, get it out of here. Another foul, this one going against the other Prepelic.
That's going to send Nick Kay to the free throw line. And right now, that's a good result for Australia. They've looked poor in the half court. See him down, got the positioning. Gee whiz, there wasn't a whole lot in that. Prepelic a little unlucky. He doesn't understand it either. And from the replay, it was hard to see. Perhaps just the locking of arms might have caused him some problems. Nick Kay, he plays his basketball here in Japan, in the B League here, which is their first division, their top-ranked league.
1 for 2. Yeah, it should feel like a home game for him. Thibault in front of Doncic, he'll switch. Kay, and a kick ball.
We saw the adjustment. So in that last timeout, Brian Goorjian evaluates what's happening. He said the hard showing's not working. So this time we just saw a switch. Now that is going to mean a huge assignment for Nick Kay. I think I prefer someone like Xavier Cooks if that's the strategy you're going to use, because see, there's the switch. Before it was the blitz, now it's a switch, and Nick Kay's got his hands full.
Prepelic, Doncic on the corner, feed into Toby, fumbled, and there's a shot clock violation.
That was the fumble that brought him undone. Shocked Toby, such an elite pass. Didn't realize it was coming, and Luka threads the needle.
Toby goes out, takes a breather, D-Metz is on. 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Giddy gonna space it out. He's driving left, floater with the right, won't drop in. Kay had a hand in it, and Horvat flings it up. Nothing there. So at the end of the first quarter, Slovenia up by 10, 28-18.
Well, if you're Slovenia, you couldn't have asked for more. They've come out and they look prepared. They look prepared for what Australia was going to do. Having teams blitz you and double team you is not new to Luka. He has to deal with that on a regular basis, and he's sliced and diced his way to a commanding lead for Slovenia, and the shooting percentages could not be better. 61% overall and 44% from threes. In contrast, it's been tough going for Australia. That was early on. Josh Green, they're at 35% from the field and only 1 of 6 from threes. That is an issue. Again, we keep referring back to when these last two teams met, and that Olympic Games campaign, it was the three ball that was standout for Australia, and they've struggled in this tournament in that area. Josh Giddey makes up for a bit of that slack with the way in which he can get into the paint. But in this one, they've just missed shots. A lot of shots that have been good looks that Coach Goorjian would be happy with. There's that hook that ended up in an and one for Toby.
And Toby leading the way, 11 points, 7 rebounds.
Yeah, he's been a beast. And that's a consequence of what happens when you're going to gamble.
Hand off, Nick. You got Greedy, single side tag behind you. Joe in the corner. Yep. Keep it out. Here we go. Here we go. Joey.
And you know that'd be concerned with their offense and the percentages with 18 points, but their bigger concern and where the alarm bells should be going off with major decibels is what are they going to do on the defensive end. This has got a similar look about what happened against Germany as we take a look at the courtside app.
Yeah, go make sure you scan the QR code on your screen to download the Courtside 1891 app. It's a nice supplementary tool to watch these games. You get all the schedules, scores, stats, everything in the palm of your hand. We're back here in Okinawa Arena. Despina Barton alongside Andrew Gaze, the FIBA Hall of Famer, 5-time Olympian for the Australian national team. Plus, plus, plus. I don't have time to list off your whole resume here, Andrew Gaze, but...
Back in the day when they used to have laces in the ball, it seems that long ago.
Pass taken away by Giddy, intended for D-Metz. And Engels gets fouled. Chubacek.
One thing you admire about Slovenia, their players know their roles and they play within their roles. That's it.
And
yeah, you got it wrong. It's going to stay here. It's going to be, she pointed the wrong way, the official, but it's going to be on D-Metz. He tried to bump the cutter as they run that Iverson cut across the top. D-Metz just stepped out in front and gave, I think it was Patty Mills, a shiver. And it was the right call. She just gave the head fake with it. Oh, that's an offensive foul.
And now it's going the other way. Giddy here on the baseline.
Look at the drive.
Extending.
A little bit. But there's contact there. He made good position. Slid his feet, kept in front.
So Green back on Doncic here. Skip pass to Horvat. Driving. Finds his way in for two.
This is just all too easy for Slovenia on the offensive end.
Giddy tossing it away. Horvat, the pass up to Chebacek. And this is a field day for Slovenia.
Well, it's getting concerning now. They've given Slovenia a 14-point head start in a do-or-die game for Australia.
Step up, Green, he's hacked. And he will shoot 3 free throws.
Luka wants a review. And even if you're right, I don't think, let's have a look. Yeah, not a lot in that. That's a gift for Josh Green. I agree with you, Luka, but I think you do the right thing because you only get one. So let's say they take this and they review it and they go, yep, you're right. Your ball.
You don't get it back even if you win it.
That's right. So I think you've got to keep that in your back pocket, and particularly when you've got a 14-point lead. And you know, this one gets tight down the stretch. You love to have that review at your disposal. As Josh Green misses the second of 3. So I think that was a good decision that time by Coach Sekulic.
2 for 3 for Green. And you imagine those two at practice with the Mavs. A fun duo to see duke it out. Cooks now in front of Doncic. Sekulic, a kick. Chibacek misses. And a stop for the Boomers. Mills, quick release. Won't count. Offensive as Horvat is rolling on the floor.
Well, Nick Kay set a screen, and Horvat's saying there was a raised elbow. Patty Mills knocked down the 3, but that's going to be waved away. Let's take a look. Oh, he's just ran into him. Nick Kay's just standing there. And it's always tough when you see a player go down, grabbing his jaw or his head, but Nick Kay did a good job setting a screen.
Getting a little chippy here between these two teams. A lot on the line here. Second round of World Cup action. Prepelic, though, having his way right through the gut.
times has that happened?
You know, in our prep work, Australia, their anchor is their defense. We're not seeing much of it here.
We're absolutely not. And we got a technical foul on Luka as he just threw the ball at the rim, and that's going to be a personal foul. Now, there was nothing malicious about it. He heard the whistle, and he threw the ball up. So Luka's going to, I think, pick up his third. So this is going to be a technical foul.
Who went to the hoop? We got one. One more. Pardon me. I just gave a flop warning. Okay. Yeah, so we have the personal foul, we have a technical foul, we have the flop warning all in one.
Gee, we ticked a lot of boxes in that one, didn't we? So there's going to be a technical foul shot, and I believe it's going to be 2 more because that personal foul was in the act of shooting. So a chance for a 3-point play from the free throw line, but more importantly, that's Luka's third personal foul, so they decide to take him out of the game. There's the flop warning, and there's the foul on the shot, and there's what got Luka the technical foul.
Strange string of events here, Mr. Gaze.
To me, Despina, I think that's one that you go, hey, Luka, you can't be throwing the ball away. You go up to him and have a chat to him, and perhaps you do it again and we're going to have some issues. But that is a very, very harsh penalty on a play that was dead. It was a dead ball anyway. A foul had been called.
Mills hit both the free throws. 11-point game. Doncic on the bench. Prepelic. Horvat in the corner now for long 2. Gobbled up as the rebound by Green.
The other thing is, right now, Slovenia are in the bonus. So any foul is going to send Australia to the free throw line.
Giddy misses. And slowing the game up here, Prepelic, the feed to Chebacek.
Demets with the foul. I was about to say they've got some really good minutes out of Demets since they've taken Mike Toby out of the game. And there has been a straight, oh my goodness. Sekulic just went old school on Demets. And I think he's finished. He has given him a spray. He came 2 meters on the court and he's still not finished. Oh, the coach going old school.
That's because he picked up his third personal. Him and Doncic now with 3 fouls, both sitting on the bench. And the ball's gonna go Slovenia's way here. Things changing in a hurry here.
It is, and Australia just can't capitalize with made shots. That one another really good look for Paddy Mills. And he comes up short.
Nikolic with the ball. Driving, trying to dish. This one stays here. And a substitution. Cooks goes off. Exum is on for Australia.
Well, what this does, it gives them 3 really good ball handlers in Mills, Exum, and Giddy. Joe Ingles goes to the 4. And Coach Gordon trying to find a way to get some rhythm on the offensive end.
Prepelic. The curl looked good. We're going the other way with Giddy. Clearing out. Mills in the corner. Gets it back, mid-range, baseline shot's good.
That'll help his confidence. A wide open look straight away. Slovenia want to have a chat about it. Australia cuts the lead to 9. And they've got to burn some time while their superstar Doncic is on the bench. And finally, Paddy gets 1 to fall.
calm. Hey! Listen to me! Brez nervosa, stay calm. We are in a great position now. Don't get, we said we need to stay calm. Stay calm, guys, please.
I reckon that's some really good advice because the emotions are starting to get the better of both teams, but when you've got an advantage, they led by as many 14. You're in that box position, as Coach Sekulic alluded to. You've got a great spot as we take a look at the drives. Now what's happening here is on the drive. So 44% of the kiddies' drives are coming on that left side. And as you see, that's his strength, and he brings it down the floor. And also, on the drives, he is scoring 0.7 of a point. It's averaging out per drive. So that's pretty good. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's pretty good numbers when you consider a percentage of drives that you're going to take. And there's a foul. Prepelic goes to the line. It's going to be on Duop Reith.
Player initiates that. That's not a foul for me. Okay, if you're going to disagree, I'm going to give you an answer, and we got to move on.
Yeah, just a little reach. Wasn't a whole lot. There's a lot of sliding on the floor. And certainly a foul. Contact by Duop Reith. There's Luca with those 3 fouls. They're going to try and buy as much time for him on this bench, but this gets down to 2 or 3. I reckon you guys might see them gamble with Luca out on the floor.
Prepelic. Dragic now, lefty from the wing, misses. Mills kicks it up to Giddy, has to stay in bounds. He throws it back to Slovenia. Outlet, really sloppy. Nikolic now working off the screen. The roll is there. Toby. Prepelic throws it up. His buddy Čebeček will save it. So here, we'll stay with Slovenia.
Dominating the board, 17-10.
Corner, another miss. Mills trying to move this thing forward on the other side. And he gets his pocket picked. Other end, Dragic.
Well, Paddy Mills was trying to milk the foul. Got in front of Dragic, but in the process, they reached from behind, and Dragic continues his run, an easy 2.
So substitutions here for Australia. We got Thibault back on the floor and Joe Ingles. Giddy is off. Nick Kay with the ball on top of the key. Back into Mills' hands. Pressure's there. And a kick ball off Dragic.
It is. And this has just been some exceptional defense by Slovenia. They've come in here with a game plan that has blanketed Australia.
Ball in Mills' hands, quick release. He gets the 3 to drop.
That's tough. Nice execution on the underneath out of bounds, and Paddy comes off the screen, off the ball foul. Dante Exum.
So Slovenia is going to the free throw line here. We are in the bonus.
That is a really, really tough shot. No, I think it's now. That's the 4th.
Oh, that's...
They put it up there pretty quick.
Ah.
And that is not much more you can do defensively. Certain things you've got to live with. And those types of contested threes, you've got to make them all night to get a win. Sometimes you just got to shake their hand and say, well done.
Dragic. He pulls it up for 3, misses. Toby in the mix.
Dragic with the tech.
And a technical call.
There's a flop on the shot. So what it was, he shot it, no contact, and he's swinging his arms around, and it's fair enough.
I think I just had a question about the timing. It was a little bit removed from the play.
Take a look. Here it is, you'll see it. So Paddy just, no contact whatsoever. And if you, we're going back to live action, but if you saw it, he kept running back and waving his hands around and ends up getting called for the flop.
So 7-point game as Mills hit the free throw. Slovenia ball now under their own basket. Samar to inbound. Nikolic gets it back to Somar, and he gets a roller.
Huge.
Exum in a hurry, other side.
Ooh.
And on the floor, Exum and Dragic, a collision.
Here we have a look. Gee, that was called a block. I thought he got there. You're allowed to be moving, and then inadvertently just falls on Dragic. But that's one of the hardest calls you'll make. And there's what you see. Matisse had to help out as Mike Toby was rolling, and they are just picking them off. And in this one here, they've made enough threes to present some challenges. Now, you look at the number, they're 5 of 17 from the three-point line, but those 5 have come at real timely moments.
Just as Australia starts to chip away, get to the single digit, cut the lead to single digits, Slovenia able to find an answer and keep them at bay. Exum makes both. So it's an 8-point game. Somar bringing the ball up for Slovenia. A younger unit out here on the floor. Somar, just 22 years old. And there's a kick ball. Coach Gorgian here trying to mastermind a comeback here before the end of the second quarter. Toby flashing all alone. Ingles driving, little dump pass. Thibault in the corner for 3, and that one feels good. Matisse Thibault for 3.
And that's huge because Thibault hasn't shot it all that well on limited attempts so far in the tournament, but they generally like to sag off on Thibault. Now he's made one. It'll help Paddy and the inside.
A stop here. Exum running. Ingles steps up for the 3. Live ball. Somar trying to create a little space from Thibault. Nikolic. That one nearly to our broadcast position.
That's another example of it's not necessarily the overall percentage, it's when you're making them, and that's a big, big 3.
Exum trying to split 2, doesn't work.
Josh Giddey coming back in for Matisse Thibault. That's a bit of a surprise to me. Just knocked down the 3. Been active out there on the defensive end.
Giddey picks up Samar. Prepelic back on the floor. Somar driving, hitting his buddy Nikolic in the corner. A miss, and Giddy comes down with the rebound. You will go to the free throw line and shoot 2. Bonus, both sides.
It is, and actually Slovenia's done a decent job of, they were in the bonus 2.5 minutes into this second quarter, and they've done a good job of...
Hold on, can we do me a favor? We have 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Let's just play some basketball, no more talking. So let's get to that second half. I understand you did, but everybody on your team's coming in.
The game within the game, right? So Luka Doncic has his GM in the stands watching on. I guess he's watching Doncic and Dante Exum play.
And Josh Green.
And yes, and Josh Green.
As Josh Green comes back in for Dante Exum.
Just in time to pick up Doncic on defense.
Well, this is a contrast because, as we mentioned right from the top, Slovenia is the one that's made a living out of the free throw line. They're averaging 31 attempts. They've only been there 3 times, whereas Australia's had 17 free throw attempts already.
Prepelic. Ingles with the hand check.
It's going to be 2 free throws to Prepelic. Sorry. But he plays his basketball in Spain. Very powerful team. Valencia has been there the last 3 seasons, I should say. He's usually well, certainly last season he was a good free throw shooter as he knocks that one down. 78% from the field. From the free throw line, excuse me. 6.5 points a game.
He's nearly to that benchmark here tonight.
Averaged 15.5 points during the Tokyo Olympic campaign. And he was the one that had the go-ahead basket to get into the gold medal game.
2 for 2
against France.
Giddy and the Boomers trying to slice down this 11-point lead. Another chance. Nick Kay. Mills with the kick. Green in the corner. Giddy wanted a better grip on that ball before he shot it. And Doncic.
Well, they are giving Giddy the chance to shoot the 3. And he made a couple in the last game. I think he's...
Prepelic, the younger one. The flex from Bine.
And what a surprise to see Doncic back in, given that they've got a buffer, a good buffer now.
Giddy, Mills, cross court. That one will go ahead and cancel. Prepelic is on the other end. Coach Sekulic wants more Doncic magic. Corner look here for Nikolic. Okay. Quick outlet for Australia. So Mills here with the ball. Shot clock at 8. That's when he'll go to work. Kay gives it back, give and go, under the basket.
What about the pass by Nick Kay? Plenty of time.
Doncic from nearly midcourt in the logo misses. So at halftime here, Slovenia, they lead 49-40 with foul trouble on the horizon. You're watching the second round of the FIBA Men's World Cup. Slovenia out in front after 20 minutes.
Australia's tournament's on the line, and they got off to a shaky start. They won that quarter by a point, but they lost the first quarter 28-18 by 10. The defense didn't necessarily see it making too much of an improvement, and the shooting percentages reflected 51% from the field, for Slovenia, only 39 for Australia, and you just get a sense that Australia are just hanging on. They made some inroads into the rebound in the second part of that second quarter, but Toby has been a beast. That he has just thrived on the double team and made a living out of the pressure that Australia's trying to put on Luka Doncic with the 14 points. He's also chipped away on the boards as well. And you look at Australia, Patty Mills gets it going for 14 and almost single-handedly keeping Australia in the game because they can't score. You can't find a running mate right now. Struggling, 4 of 11 from the three-point line, and look at the matchups. And that undersells what Luka Doncic has done. He's only got the 6 points. Patty Mills has got the 14. But here's the thing. He is the greatest decoy in the world right now. They're throwing 2 guys at him, and he's prepared to make the pass and make those around him better. And in particular, Mike Toby, who's flourished of the defensive strategies of Australia, and Brian Goorjian scratches his head, and as he should. Turnovers have been a problem and led to some easy transition baskets, but they've got their work cut out for them. I think they need to reassess what they're doing. Didn't see much of Xavier Cooks in that first half, and here's one that I think we need to see more of because he's so active on the defensive end. You can switch. I feel okay with him on Luka, and then Patty Mills. He's been the saviour yet again because Australia having all sorts of problems scoring.
Meanwhile, Slovenia's got a school bus full of scores as Luka Doncic had to take a deep breath there in the second quarter from the bench. He picked up his 3rd personal foul, and you're just looking at the additional side pieces and the appetizers that are keeping Slovenia out in front. Mike Toby, such a critical centerpiece of Slovenia's run here. And Thibault, after this made 3, he got taken out.
Yeah, it is. It might have just been a matchup issue, who knows? But we were a little surprised. And as I mentioned, you look at the raw number, 7 of 22. Boy, they are getting them up. They've had 37 field goal attempts. 22 of them have come from the three-point line. They're at 32%. And they have made them at critical stages. Whenever Australia cut it to 7, cut it to 8, they come away and knock down a 3-ball.
It's a 9-point game at half. We'll see on the start of the 3rd.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are all on the same team.
We have the power to change lives through basketball.
Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin, basketball can bring everyone together. Basketball for good.
Turns it over now. Samsonite come up with it. Wani, big threat. Another block. That's the 3rd block of the game by Renzabando. Now, Djordjevic liking what he gets from Joe, and again, he goes up, and now he is the top scorer in this game with 18 points.
And what a pass there from Ja Wei between the legs, finding Jun Zhao on the nice roll.
And they get it in. Spellman bringing it over. He's staying aggressive. Saud is open. His shot at the buzzer is good. Not sure if that's what Coach drew up, but it doesn't matter because it works anyway.
Trying to make a bit of contact, goes up, and Wenya Gabriel just says, not at my house.
Francisco tries to turn the corner, drops it to Yabusele, and one. It's just too strong, too big. Powers his way, bullies his way to the hoop.
Sammy, bullseye's out. Oh, look at that. Ahab Amin takes it away. You cannot be serious. That is not going to be, he just snuck up there, took the ball away, went in for a layup. And you got to do better than this. Look at this. And they get it to Cruz. He kind of fumbles it, gets it back, puts up a three. Good! Well, there you have it. The icing on the cake of Mexico's best first half. There they go, Sammy with the bounce pass, and what hustle from Omar Hushan. Slapping it out of bounds.
Gabriel getting rejected. Soto with the denial. Mock kicks out. Kwani looking to go in again. Still can't get it. Another block shot. Back-to-back blocks by Kai Soto.
Soho driving, he coughs it up. Baba with the ball. He's looking for help. He finishes it to Hijima. And one, Hijima.
What a play!
Japan has the lead.
Vinay Baba saw the defense coming, he's holding his shoulder, but look at the heads-up play.
Away in the flush. That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
So we're back in Okinawa here, Australia, Slovenia. It's halftime. This team, the favored team in today's contest, down by 9 points. What do you say, Andrew Gaze? We need more.
Well, you do, but there's only so much one guy can do. He needs to find a running mate or two. Paddy Mills. And at both ends of the floor, they would have had some deep discussions of how they're going to play some defense, because the ease at which Slovenia have been able to score, they're picking them off. And it's a tough one. There's a great give and go by Paddy, and that's what happens when you've got a guy on 3 fouls that's trying to avoid fouls as well. He was never going to attack too aggressively, and they take advantage of it. Paddy with the 14 points, 4 of 8 from the field, and there you see he's done it from all over. He's another one that's elite in mid-range as well. And who's going to be that guy? Josh Giddey's got the 7 points. Josh Green, the 2 Joshes. Josh Green's got 8, but down the other end of the floor, this man has got 13 points and 8 rebounds. And there you see what happens when you're trapping Duop Reith. Hard for him to get back. And Mike Toby hitting perimeter shots, and then might have got the benefit of the doubt here with a hook, but Mike Toby, when he can knock down those perimeter shots, it makes it really hard to double team, because Luka will find you. And if you get into second, third, or sometimes fourth man rotations, it puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and just need a bit more ball pressure to make that pass open. You're always going to be open for a period of time when you've jumped out off Toby, and where your weak side help's coming from. And even if you drop in and guard Toby, then we've seen Luka find the people on the perimeter. So you've got to just put ball pressure on to try not to allow him to make that pass. And a couple of times they did execute that, and he turned it over. You know, he was complaining about the kick ball on one of those occasions, but there are others where he threw it out of bounds. But across the checks and balances right now, advantage Slovenia. They have dealt with the defensive strategy that Australia's dished up better than what Australia has been able to perform. And you can tell by now, like, Australia's not even out. They're having a good chat at the halftime break, trying to break down, maybe going through some vision of how they got to do better.
And for Slovenia, if you're going to try and put the pedal to the gas here in the third quarter, which you want to build a cushion, how do they do this? How do they get this one out of reach? Because Australia is extremely dangerous.
Well, you don't want to go negative, but controlling the tempo, and they've done that beautifully so far. And recognise what Australia's trying to do on defence and continue to execute it. But you don't want Australia to get that momentum. Try and keep them in the half court. Australia are at their best when they're getting out and running. And I think Australia need to look at perhaps their personnel. Chris Goulding is someone who's hardly played in this tournament, only played in junk time. But he's on the team for perimeter shooting. And right now, they are taking Giddy out of the game by packing it in the paint. And that's why I thought Matisse Thybulle made 3 was big, because it gets the defense thinking about it. You see the leaders for Australia. Giddy's doing a good job on the boards, but finding an extra shooter on the floor is going to be important. And for Australia, it's just trying to do the opposite. Get out there, put some heat on the rim. And it sounds really, really simplistically, but sometimes it's just about putting the ball in the hole. They've had some good looks, but they've missed shots. And, you know, they might just try and ride it out and back the odds and back their great shooters that eventually they'll come good.
With Australia already having 1 loss heading into this second round, this is a must-win if they want to continue on in World Cup competition, at least in contention to move on to the quarterfinals. Slovenia, they're perfect through their first group phase, 3-0. You got to start feeling the pressure for this team. And in Australia, we've seen them weather. Coach Gorgon leaving them out, not really disrupting the way this group pulls through. But when do you ring those bells?
The bells are ringing right now. He would have, at the halftime break, being very animated and making sure the players understood the urgency of what's at stake. And that's got to show up in those areas that you can control. Keep Mike Tobey off the boards. Don't allow 5 offensive rebounds. Don't get out-rebounded 20 to 15. These are the things that they've got to try and get on top of. But there's a lot of basketball to go. 9 points, we've seen it already with some of the upsets and some of the comebacks we've seen right across this World Cup. There is a long, long way to go, but it's a very good advantage that Slovenia start this second half with.
And there's some foul troubles to be aware of here. Luka Doncic playing with 3 personal fouls. D-Met's 2 with 3, but he's come off the bench. On the other end, we've seen Australia and Patty Mills just try out a bunch of different rotations out there, not only to slow down Slovenia, but to find some offensive firepower. So now we'll get set to start the third quarter, and we're going to try and listen in here to Brian Gorgon and his message to the unit.
If we don't have the push, first possession, let's go weave into pick and roll, all right? Go to Patty on the handoff, all right? Right here, the 1, the 5 coming and setting it, 5 rolls, single tag, all right? Single tag. Handoff, handoff. Make sure you pick green rolls to the pass. Push corner. Tenemos let's go, Luka. 5. You don't come for the screen. You make delay for Vine. Vine, you will come and slip and go down like you follow. So if you have this, or you go pop. You don't like this, you go 1 more Binevet in the side.
So Andrew, we know that Australia is going to push the ball, something that you've called for here in the first half. And for those of you that have not downloaded this World Cup app in the Courtside 1891, make sure you scan the QR code right now. You want this in your hands.
The other thing that's going against Australia is a bit of history, and they're going to have to create history to win this one, because Slovenia are unbeaten in FIBA World Cup games when leading by 9+ points at the half. Now that's 8 games across their time in World Cups. They've led by 9 or more, and they have never been beaten from this position.
And on the flip side, Australia have only won 1 of their 8 FIBA World Cup games after trailing at halftime here in the 21st century. So good
start by Slovenia again.
Giddey with the ball. Open look in the corner, Josh Green. It's short. One and done for the Boomers.
Pretty decent look too by Green.
Doncic kicks it. Around the horn we go. Prepelic, a miss. Mills trying to work off Reith's screen. Green to Giddey. Giddey yet to take a shot from beyond the arc. That pass disrupted. Doncic nearly sniffing it out, and they get the turnover. Shot clock violation.
We see it. And Doncic was the one that broke it up. That deflection made it almost impossible for Josh Green with the time left on the clock. And right now, I think you've got to milk Patty Mills. Whatever you've got in your playbook to bring him off some screens and get him the ball and let him make it fly. Let it fly, because it's looked pretty shaky everywhere else.
Nikolic to the corner. Toby tips it out. Doncic is there for it. Pump fake. He'll Euro right through and take what he is giving.
Oh, that's the foul they wanted.
This is going to be foul number 4 for Luka Doncic.
What about the heads-up play by Patty Mills? That is just a super smart play by Patty Mills. Running down. Luka just a little bit of celebrating, perhaps not concentrating, so Patty cuts him off, falls to the floor, and that's number 4 for Luka. Little doubt. I don't think he's got much reason to complain. Just a real super smart play by Patty Mills.
Awareness by the veteran is Giddey, spinning through traffic, and we'll get 2 on the other end. Nikolic walking the ball up. Head down, he'll drive, keep it high, misses. Giddey and the Boomers moving.
I like the Diop Reith that last possession. He intimidated the shot. Diop's been really good in contesting shots around the rim.
Reith, and a tip back from his teammate. Welcome Nick Kay to the party.
Slovenia staying with Luka as well with those 4 fouls.
Dragic in the tough way. Zoran Dragic for 2. Giddey threading it to Reith. Too many people in the paint. Another takeaway here.
It's
turnover number 9.
Yeah, and not a lot of ball movement. They're going straight into their on-ball action. Man, it hasn't been all that productive. As I mentioned, get it through some sets, get it through some hands, and loosen up the defense before you get into that attack mode.
Reith gets it on the other end. And Nikolic, in his effort to slow down Mills, picks up Slovenia's second.
And they take Reith out. I've actually liked Reith in there at that last line of defense. I think he's been good. And they go small again with Xavier Cooks in the lineup.
Been warned for Australia. Bench has been warned.
A bit too much chit-chat coming from the Australia bench.
A little miscue here as Mills scrambles to One thing's here for Australia. He's driving left. He'll kick it, Kay. Gives it right back. One dribble, shooter shoot, and he's got it.
Steph Curry-like in the ball movement. The kick, and then the relocate, get it back. Wide open Patty. I like it.
Mills, by the way, is now tied with Dirk Nowitzki, Leo Routens, and his fellow countryman, Andrew Gaze, as the player to have scored 10 or more points in 18 straight FIBA World Cup games. Patty Mills in great company. Green with the steal. The feed to Giddey. Lay in on the left with the right. The youngster starting to run here for Australia.
It's back down to 7, and this is where in the first half, Slovenia were able to come up with big buckets.
Dragic, top of the key, it's missed. Mills, looking down court to Giddey. He'll pull things out.
He's got the bigger Toby on him, but Toby's encouraging and inviting him to shoot the three.
And that was the first one he took this contest.
Doesn't need to hesitate. It's like there's a thought process going through. You shouldn't think about it, just let it go.
Doncic and Green trying to win out on that stop. Green picks up his second. We'll see Doncic here on the free throw line.
Australia make more changes. Matisse Thibault comes back in for Josh Green. And Dante Exum, he'll have point guard duties. Coming in for Josh Giddey. There's that relocation, a kick out, and just the heads up to keep on the move.
Doncic hits the first.
No problem there. 2 of 3 from the free throw line. He's got 9 points, only 3 of 5 from the field. And of course, spent a chunk of time in that second quarter on the bench with those 3 fouls. He's picked up his 4th.
Pushes the lead back out to 9. Joe Ingles on for Australia here.
And he's another one that they can look to get going. He's only had the 2 field goal attempts. He's yet to score in this contest.
Cooks. Mills now driving, and he's gonna draw the offensive, that left elbow. Too much.
Gets called for the offensive foul.
So Thibault picks up Doncic. They'll call a switch. Cooks contests. Tapped away. Slovenia getting another chance here. Horvat.
That's Mike Toby, just using his size. And the deflection down there on the low boards. 7 offensive boards for Slovenia.
Another look at Horvat trying to beat Exum to the spot here.
It was the early one that he gets called for. Otherwise, Dante might have had a few problems. Hold on, just checking with the officials.
5 points for Exum here. And now 4 of his 6 points coming from the free throw line. Good ball movement. Toby on the block.
Oh, good hand by.
And the whistle, the ball's gonna...
Tech foul, called on Australia. It looked like Joe Ingles had slapped the ball.
Foul, Australia bench, on the bench. Yep. Blanca, go ahead and stay.
It looked like Joe Ingles. Have a look, he slaps it. Looks like it comes off the leg of Toby. Oh, clearly comes off the leg of Toby. Gee.
Now Toby alone on the free throw line after the tech called by the bench of Australia. And Coach Gorgon here, who is still chirping here with the official. Prepelic back to Doncic. Gets out of the double, skips it over to Horvat. And gets it off in time. It's a miss. Mills coasting down court. Ingles, extra pass in the corner now. We're looking at a miss there by Exum.
That's Joe's shot. They swing it to Joe, and that's what he's there for. He's got to shoot that ball.
A whistle away from the ball. Cooks. His third personal. Excuse me, make that his fourth personal. No wonder we haven't seen more of Cooks here in this game.
Yeah, I realized that. He had the foul issues, but even with that, I thought, you know, when the game's getting away from you, you just roll the dice and, gee, it's play going down pretty easy, wasn't it? Well, there was a whole lot of contact.
Doncic hits Horvat. No, it's blocked. Exum there on the read. Mills, extra pass, gives it to the guy with the big block.
Well, he does it with the spectacular save at one end, and trailing down, Patty Mills finds him for the two-hand stuff. That might generate some momentum for Australia. T. Steibel now got the job on Luka.
Čepeček gives it back. 7 to shoot. Doncic is driving, kick to Čepeček. 3, no, won't go. Demets had a hand in it. Mills going down.
This is going to send, oh, excuse me, now that's their fourth team foul. Have a look. Look at Dante. That's an easy two, and coming from behind. That is spectacular. Just athleticism on the defensive end, but hang on, stand by. Athleticism on the offensive end as well. Goes up and tucks it in.
He deserved every bit of that one, Andrew. Mills takes it himself, misses, gets his own rebound. One of the smallest guys out there right now, and can't hit the bunny. Doncic step back 3. His buddy Horvat with the rebound, so reset, fresh shot clock. Prepelic with the ball. He'll have a shot at it. It's short, and how about a third chance? And a blocking foul against Steibel. And I don't think if that would have came, Andrew, I think Slovenia would have kept running the O boards.
Well, Brian Gorgon, he was signaling like he wanted to review and call a block. Now that was a big heart-in-your-mouth moment for Slovenia. Potential offensive foul. Instead, it's Doncic to the line to shoot a couple of free throws.
Doncic, by the way, the first player making over 10 points more than 5 rebounds and 5 assists in each of his 4 games in the World Cup play. The first time in 30 years, Andrew.
Yeah, he's a freak. He is a freak. It's a privilege to be able to see, watch a man of his capabilities play. Sit here, front row seats, and watch the genius at work. He gets a spell, nursing those 4 fouls. So we get 2.5 minutes on the bench. You suspect that they might bring him back early, depending on what type of lead they have at 3/4 time.
Giddey in the corner now, driving at Horvat. Kick to the other side. Exum brings it out. Exum will split 2 and go at it. A miss. And the official just going to call a stoppage here and play.
Gee, that almost went against Slovenia. They're in transition, so that helps out.
So Chebacek,
Australia,
hits the deck hard. And it might have been more of a hindrance.
Yeah.
Prepelic to Dimets. That one, the heavens above got him. Lead back out to 11 for Slovenia. Giddey and this Boomer squad trying to find an answer.
Just gets his head down, barrels his way to the basket. I think you've got to be a little cautious now in the bonus.
Prepelic. And a foul going against Dimets. That's going to be the 5th for Australia. His 3rd personal.
Yeah, it was an offensive foul, but you don't shoot free throws on offensive fouls. There you see Dimets, Nick Kay's trying to get around. He's grabbed him by the shorts underneath the basket, and he gets called for the offensive foul, and straight away he goes to the sideline with the 4 fouls. He and Toby just alternate very, in fact, in this whole tournament, I can't remember too many times where you haven't seen at least one of those 2 on the floor at the same time.
Giddey now back-to-back drives. 15 points for Josh Giddey. Nikolic with the ball for Slovenia. FIBA in front of Prepelic. Prepelic driving, dishing, his buddy for 2. Horvat, right place, right time this contest. Giddey, Euro steps. 6 straight for Giddey on the other end.
Yeah, they've found a weapon. They've found something that they can go to. And Giddey's delivering off the bounce, getting to the rim. It's coming early too, they're just getting straight into it.
And a double foul called in here.
That'll neutralize each other out.
So we'll have to run this back to see.
Prepelic and Thibault was off the ball. And I think they were just wrestling each other. Thibault working his tail off to get through these screens, and they're still going at it. Still going at it off the ball. See in the, there, these 2 right there. And that's because Thibault is nose to nose, doing whatever he can to get over the top of these stagger screens.
Prepelic pressure, trying to get a look, and he travels. Walking away as that ball went in.
That was a good D by Nick Kay. Done a decent job on Prepelic. He averaging 17 points a game, or near enough 2. And that's claiming Prepelic, but he only got 7 points, 2 of 5, so they've taken away some of his opportunities. Paddy Mills comes back in for this last play to bring an extra shooter onto the floor and hopefully for Australia's sake, further spread the floor to allow Giddy to do what Giddy has been doing, and that is head down, get to the cup.
Giddy driving left this time, and one. A flex for the young man. 8 straight for number 3.
Have a look at this. This is a man that's just taking matters into his own hands. Now, in fairness, I don't know what Toby did wrong. Just stood there. Giddy gets the foul and goes to the line for the M1 to cut it potentially to 4. And they make the change again. This time it's Paddy Mills checking back out. Thibault comes back in for defense, so they're trading offense for defense.
And Josh Giddey's gonna get to shoot one more here. A chance to close it in. What was a 9-point lead at half is now dwindled to 4. Star quarter for Josh Giddey. Seven to shoot. Nikolic with the ball. Prepelic comes rolling for it. It's short. And the scoreboard stands 66-62 as we get ready for the 4th quarter, Andrew Gaze.
Well, Australia won that quarter 22-17. And to me, it was the defense where they made the most inroads. They had 22 in the second quarter, so they basically matched that, but able to hold Slovenia to only 17 points. Well, Luke has been hamstrung by those fouls, and again spent a couple of minutes on the bench. Saw Nick Kay with a putback, and that's where it's been a bit better. That's just a strong finish. Josh Green in the right play, Drogic able to knock it down. And compared to the first 2 quarters, Australia's defense has really picked up, and Dante Exum with a spectacular plays at both ends of the floor. And it's a 4-point game in a relatively low-scoring affair.
And Giddey hasn't been confident. It hasn't had a lot of confidence from shooting from the field. But man, has he showed us his ability just to get to the rack. Giddey, by the way, now scoring 17 points in his last 3 games, at least 17 points in consecutive 20-point outings for him. They're going to need it a little bit more in the 4th quarter if Australia wants to come back.
Well, that's right, and both these teams have been strong on the offensive end as far as points per game. 96 Australia's been averaging, which is 4th best in the competition, and Slovenia not far behind at 93 at 6th best. But this one here has been a defensive grind. The tempo of the game is slowed down, and now it's pretty much in the balance.
So 10 minutes left, start of the 4th quarter.
Lucas starts on the bench.
Giddey with the ball in his hands. Mills driving. The arena just goes silent in here. The save by Giddey. And Mills will pull up the elbow shot. Won't go in.
Clunky start.
Prepelic. Toby gives it back to him. High-low. Take away. Mills running the other way. And a blocking foul. Slovenia and Jakub Čebaček.
What a play by Paddy Mills. Comes in to help the big boys out and just snatches it from Toby. Slowed down a little bit in the second half. Australia's done a better job, but still, Mike Toby, 16 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double coming his way.
His first in World Cup play, and only the second time Slovenia has had multiple players with double action here in World Cup action. Giddy, head down again, lay in with the left, he hits the hardwood and quickly bounces up to play D.
This is quickly becoming the Josh Giddy show.
2-point game, Prepelic to Toby. Horvat driving, floater in. Giddy again, shoulder. Hook with the left, misses. Toby in Slovenia, get it out of there. Prepelic firing over to Nikolic. Giddy working off the screen from Kay. Around the horn we go. Green in the corner. Won't drop in.
Good looks. Really good looks for Australia.
Horvat driving, extra pass, Nikolic in the corner.
Huge.
That one is good, nothing but nylon for Alexei Nikolic.
Huge. They're the ones that we've been talking about. When it gets tight, they come up with big plays and big shots.
Giddy to Engels. Around the horn we go for the Boomers, and Giddy from 3. Just no confidence today. Prepelic. Slovenia here setting up. Luka Doncic and Dimets waiting to sub in. Losing his handle. Will regroup. Prepelic splitting defenders. Extra pass by Toby. Slovenia pushing back out the lead. 9 points the advantage.
Just the touch, the reaction, the connections that they're having. And a lot of Slovenia's baskets, they just seem to come a lot easier to them. They've got those connections out on the floor, even when Luke is not there. Outside a good run by Giddy. Let's listen in to Brian Goorjian.
Got it, guard. We push off stops. Let's go and stack here. Stack here. On this. Down that edge. Nick's screening for Joe. Dante a little bit acting like you're going with Joe. Nick's coming back here. Paddy, you're already on the way. Dante downhill right. Roll, Nick. Last time we ran it, Paddy's wide open. All the way up, Paddy open. Do that? That's the shoot. Pace, pace, pace. Pace, pace. Stop.
Another look at the connection and the ball movement that has been on display for Slovenia. Horvat with the drive. And some names we've been able to see for Slovenia just be able to contribute here in game day number 4. The last thread and feed to Mike Toby, that man, the double-double. Doncic fired up his team with a 9-point advantage. 7 minutes to go. Exum will bring the ball up for Australia. Cook's back on the floor. Mills wants a little bit more space. Gets tangled up with Horvat.
Well, this is a big mountain to climb. This was the margin at halftime. Australia's got as close as 4. That's the closest they've been in the second half.
Exum, pull-up jumper, won't go in. And Prepelic with the rebound. Green on the defensive assignment. He'll switch and come back. Around the horn. Chebacek. How about Horvat now? A miss. Everybody tipping the ball Mills gets stopped, and he's fouled by Horvat. His third personal.
Prepelic gets a spell. Gogic comes back in.
Mills trying to get open here. Exum. Cooks now going to work. Tangled up a little bit. The hook goes down. Xavier Cooks.
Well, with Toby not in there, Cooks' agility and going at a man who's got 4. Man, I'm not sure if Australia want him to foul out. Prefer D-Mats to be in there.
Doncic to Horvat, corner. It's off. Exum kicks it out. Ingles to Cooks. Nobody running with them.
Gee. Blew a good opportunity to score then.
Mills to Ingles. Ingles will let it fly off its mark. An empty possession for Australia. Doncic going through 2. And that's pretty much money every time we've seen him go through.
It is. There you see it. Cooks is there, and Doncic, he is one of the hardest players to officiate because of the way in which that he reacts to contact. And he spends a lot of time on the floor because of it. Time there, just going in, driving into the legs. Smart play by Doncic, just driving into the legs of Xavier Cooks, who also has the 4 fouls.
First one goes down for Doncic. 13 points. Has had to really manage his time on the court with playing with 4 fouls. And takes care of business from the free throw line. Giddey. Now ready to go to work. The ball is going to stay here.
They want to challenge it. It's too late. Australia they were thinking about it too long. The coach wanted to challenge it. And Giddey did the right thing, I think, because I thought it came off Giddey's foot. Giddey did the right thing just to advance to the next play.
Cutter there, Green denied. Doncic sends it out of there. And you're starting to feel the Slovenian team just take control. D-Men's also playing on the floor right now with 4 fouls. D-Met skips it. Jebacek, wing 3. That one's high and in. Could be the dagger for Slovenia. Giddey stripped. Jebacek. A miss here in transition. Will run with Exum. That one's taken away. Doncic just reading everything.
It is, and they're not going to be in a hurry. They are going to make it really tough for Australia. Milk just spread it around. They're looking for a shot in the last 6 seconds of every possession, unless something really easy presents. And right there,
Prepelic been guarding him so tightly, and that's why he can shoot from anywhere in this gym. And right now, Slovenia out in front by 15.
Yeah, that's close to a nail in the coffin for Australia, because they don't have the 3-point firepower to get this back quickly. They're only 5 of 20 from the 3-point line, and it's hard to see with.
The other guard, all right? The ball comes in, it comes up the sideline, you've got that one. If it comes middle, we run and jump. Stay up the line here, all right? Don't allow that. Don't allow that. If it gets in here, trap it. You got to trap and play the lanes, and we got to go. All right? On the push, pick the ball. Spread, pick the ball. Play it out. Here we go. Play it out.
See Brian Gorge in that timeout. He's mainly focusing on the defense. That is just a huge play by Dante Exum reading it. And Josh Green just not having a feel for where he was. A little head fake there, and he was going to be able to put it in, but it's been knocking down threes at timely times. They're only 29%, but it's the moments in which they've hit the threes that have stuck out the most. And right now, it's all about the shot, the time management for Slovenia. And Brian Gorge in that last time out, if we have a look at the minutes that Luka Doncic has played.
No whistle here, Giddy, hands up in the air. Doncic slow to get up off the ground, and he'll sit back down. Well, his teammates give him an assist and a boost. He's holding his right
I'm not trying to miss that, you know. All right.
And
hey, here we go. Thank you.
And that last time out, have a crack to tell you what they're going to do is they're trying to trap in the middle. They're going to trap. Giddy's complaining. Oh, yeah, he got hit. Both of them. Luka got hit, but so did Josh Giddey as he drove in. Teammates just reached and just cracked his arm.
So Slovenia now to inbound. Doncic stays on. Full court pressure comes. No problem for Doncic and company. And Giddey, sneaky, sneaky, just as Doncic was sleeping.
Well, they want to use the clock, but they can't afford to go negative. They got to keep the ball moving. Just eat into the shot clock every possession. Australia going to gamble, so they're going to find good looks like that.
And the tip out, Giddey covers, Mills out, speeding ahead, misses a wild shot by Mills.
Well, he's trying to draw the foul on Luka, and he probably, in that attempt to call a foul on Luka, get the foul on Luka, he gave up an easier scoring option. There's a tech foul. Tech foul, I think he techs on Josh Giddey. Let's have a look. Gee.
Prepelic hits the free throw. You're right, Giddey with that technical foul. Australia here having to make up in a hurry. Their World Cup plans are over in a loss. Slovenia, though, again, those O boards giving them second, third chance opportunities all night long. All day for Cebacek. And this one getting out of hand.
Absolutely, it's all helter-skelter stuff now for Australia.
Giddey going baseline. That's going to be foul number 5 on Demets. But with 2:15 to play, Andrew Gaze.
Yep. This one, you can put a fork in it. They're cooked. They don't have the firepower right now. And full credit to Slovenia. They have given a basketball lesson at both ends of the floor to Australia. They've looked more organised. Their plan defensively has been more effective. And offensively, they just picked them off. And Luka will, even with that foul problems, just the basketball IQ and the way in which he runs his team. 15 points for Luka in this one, but that undersells his contribution to this team.
And early on, it was Mike Tobey doing a lot of the lifting. His first double-double of the evening, of the tournament, excuse me. And Prepelic and Doncic able to find him in critical times.
And no disrespect for Dyson Daniels and Jack White, but Brian Goorjian has just hoisted the white flag.
The concession is here. Australia making wholesale substitutions. As Doncic will try from midcourt. He gets it from the logo. The fans on their feet. His dad in the stands. Slovenia all but securing their future to the quarters. Thibault. And when it doesn't really matter, they're able to convert.
This whole tournament, you just get the feeling that Brian Goorjian just hasn't been able to figure out his rotations. And when you've got a lot of talent at your disposal, it can be a challenge. It's a good problem to have, but they haven't been able to solve it.
And Doncic weaving through the lane, just a little lazy play as Ingles skips it up. And another three. Exum this time from the corner. I know you're doing the quick math up there. It's an 11-point lead for Slovenia. 13-point lead. Goodness, let me check my eyesight here.
No, and there's Luka from the car park. And he's loving it. He is the heart and soul of this Slovenia team.
And the passion he plays basketball with
is
unmatched.
It's beautiful. It's, you know, a lot of people get a little frustrated with some of the histrionics that he can sometimes go through, but that's just the competitive spirit that he has and trying to eke out. There's Dad on the sidelines. So it'll come down between a game between Slovenia and Germany to see who goes through. And
that's the lead there to 11.
Second string is coming on for Australia, showing how to get it done from the three-point line.
No look pass. Toby has to kick it. And Dragic now pulling a three, miss. Exum sprinting down court. Lay in and one. Exum.
We love to see this from Australia, not throwing in the towel and coming on and continuing to play it out. Now, they're not going to get there, but you respect the character and the way in which they continue to fight it out.
A miss. And Doncic kind of just slowing things up. He stares down Exum.
They're going to be teammates.
They are teammates.
At the match.
This one's going to be a fun one to recount, as they both play for the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA.
Ceesay spending the last 3 or 4 seasons in Europe. He played in Serbia for Partizan last season.
18 points for Doncic. 8 for 9 from the free throw line. And they're 22 seconds away from putting this one to rest. And that's more like the story for Australia in this game, Andrew. They had so many opportunities, great looks. The ball just would not go down.
No, and the possessions were clunky. There wasn't a lot of movement. The majority of the action coming off the dribble. And always going up against an established defense. And this is Slovenia. Slovenia, they need to enjoy this. This is a big win.
The final buzzer. Slovenia upsetting Australia, the favorite here in the tournament. They go ahead and streak together their longest winning record in FIBA World Cup history. They're 4-0, and we are very much likely to see Slovenia in the quarterfinals. Giddy and the Australian team outworked here today, and Slovenia wins. Final score 91-80. Luka Doncic, so much respect between these two teams. A battle to the end. And where does Australia go from here, Andrew?
Well, they got to regroup. Good news for Australia is because they've made it this far, they've qualified for the Paris Olympic Games, so they'll get another go at it. And Luka doing the right thing, making sure he shows respect to the entire Australian team. But they've got some soul searching to do with their method, with their personnel and how they use it. They're going to be disappointed. But it's not about Australia right now, it's about Slovenia and what lies ahead. They come in and they'll take on Germany, and the winner of that game will be the #1 seed, and the whole tournament's been full of surprises. Latvia doing a job on Spain earlier today. So it's still wide open, and who they might meet in the next round. It's likely that Canada will be one of the ones they potentially may cross over, but still some work to do before we know the full details.
This has got to feel good for Slovenia here, and certainly Luka Doncic, right? At the hands of Australia in the Olympics, they kept them off the podium. Here, now, Slovenia stays in contention for a World Cup.
Yeah, that's right, and they're going to be a handful. They play well together, they're super smart, they're well coached. They had a great game plan going in at both ends of the floor. The way in which they were spreading the floor, Luka and Slovenia were ready for the trapping, the double team. They were able to pick them off, and either at the rim or in the on the wings, and that's really well structured. And offensively, they get it to their right people. Josh Giddey battled his heart out, and he ended up with being the leading scorer in the game with 25 points, 11 of 18, 8 rebounds and 4 assists. And Slovenia was just bits and pieces from everyone. They were composed, they were unselfish, they were able to make shots at the right time, and it all came together for them against an Australia team that was well below their best.
Slovenia playing through and through. Cook's in trouble. He's usually a catalyst for Australia off the bench. He was battling foul trouble, and Coach Gorgian didn't find an offensive answer. At the half, they're down by 9. It spread to 14 in the third.
Well, it's the guys that have been there in the past that they've relied on the most. And Paddy, he battled as well and really played it out, played hard, had 17 points. But the one that jumps off the page at you is Joe Ingles. Did not score a point in the contest, and further to that, only had 2 assists and had only 3 field goal attempts. And all that happened in 26 minutes of play. It's not like he wasn't playing. And that's where you got to look at your structures sometimes and find the balance on who you want to be shooting and when you want to be shooting it. And it didn't seem like Australia understood where they needed to be. And wide open shots like that, when you're double teaming and you're trapping and you're guarding this guy, people are going to be open. And if you don't shut him down on that double team, they are so good at passing and so unselfish, and they space the floor so well. Sometimes it's just a matter of whether they make or miss shots. They got wide open shots. So it was a great night for Slovenia, and they will move on. We take a look at the standings.
Germany wins, Slovenia wins. Those two get to clash in 2 evenings from today to figure out those top 2 seedings to advance to the quarterfinals. And so there's more basketball to be played here in Okinawa. a graphic and a look here.
These are the teams that have qualified
for the Olympic
for
Games.
the Olympics. They're already in, and there's two. There's the host nation, as you'd expect, and as the highest finishing team from Oceania, Australia get that berth. And they were pretty much up against, the only other team they were up against was New Zealand. And New Zealand played well throughout the tournament, but couldn't quite get there.
And a lot of things to figure out for Australia before they start those Olympic Games. Tonight, it's all about Slovenia, Luka Doncic, and the crew that upsets Australia here in Okinawa. Congratulations, final score here, 91-80.
Towards the camera. They count to 10 for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello, yes, I'm here. Unfortunately, trying to be happy after a very disappointing loss.
To your right. So we are starting. Okinawa Arena has cleared out, and it wasn't a good night for the Australian Boomers. Drewy, falling to Slovenia, their FIBA World Cup dreams are over. Just on this matchup, what was the issue? Why couldn't the Boomers ever get a lead after Slovenia came out so hot?
Well, this was a Slovenian team that was really well organised right from the start. We knew Luka Doncic was going to be a problem, and Australia, rightly, had a look at just trapping him, trying to get the ball out of his hands. But the way in which Slovenia were prepared for that, the way in which Luka distributed the ball, the extra pass, the hockey assist, the amount of wide open threes, and also for Toby around the basket, we had no answer. And then we tried. Brian went to try to switch, the switching defense. And when we were doing that, there were some mismatches. They were able to exploit it. They just played beautiful basketball, Slovenia, at both ends of the floor. And Australia looked a little helter-skelter on the offensive end. Defensively, Slovenia had the answers for what they were trying to do. They made life tough for Paddy, particularly in the second half. And Josh got it going there for a little while. But outside of that, it was hard to see where there was going to be more contributors on the offensive end. It just seemed there was a lot of random shots rather than shots coming from their structure. And that could be a product of limited preparation. But, Joe Ingles plays 26 minutes and only takes 3 shots at 0 of 3 from the field. They'll be doing some soul searching. It's a disappointing thing, but that's what happens in tournament play. These things can happen. They've got to just try and show some character, come back against Georgia and get a win.
So there was a sense that coming into this tournament, the Boomers didn't really know where their shots where they were coming from. Right? They inserted Josh Giddey into that lineup. It was sort of like inserting the new and the old, didn't really know where to go. Right? Is that what you saw as well?
Well, I think that it was one where the intentions were good, and you could see the plan. But what happens when you're up against really good defense and they take things away from you? It's how you react to that. So I think the starting point was good. The method that they were trying to get to was okay, but sometimes you're out there, and to use a very generic term, you're playing basketball because something's taken away from you, and how you can create shots. And to me, the thing that sticks out the most, the glaring difference, if you look at the three-point percentage and the perimeter percentages from the Olympic Games as compared to what we've seen so far in the 4 games we've seen here, there is a gap. And it sounds really simplistic, but sometimes it's about putting the ball in the hole. They had some good looks tonight that they weren't able to make. And then when you dig yourself a hole, they started to take some tough looks, which were shots that were difficult. So it's